MADDAD. I have a hell of a lot of personal respect for this man. And I want to tell you why. Because this man puts human values before his career. What's right and he knows what's wrong. And this man knows what he wants to stand for. So I want to introduce you to Patrick. This absolutely blows my mind that I'm standing here in the Niagara region where I started my career as an officer 5 years ago, where I met wonderful, courageous human beings wearing the uniform standing over there. I met these people. I know how hard they work. And I know why these people signed up for the job in the first place. And you know what else I've seen? I've seen what happens to these beautiful, courageous human beings over time when they let the administration beat them down. Have I said anything that's not true yet, constables? No response. Of course, they're not allowed to say anything. They're not allowed to speak against the administration. Well, I'm here to say, fuck that. It's nonsense. If you look at any police service or law enforcement agency here in Canada as a potential applicant, they're going to have a list of their core competencies that they expect you to bring to the table before you even apply. Because they're looking for the type of person who has these core competencies already developed in their life. They want you to bring some life experience. Now, why would that be important in the country of Canada? I'm just looking around and I'm looking at all of you, and I can tell that you all came from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and you had different experiences that led you here to this very moment today. All of us have. So it makes sense that a police service which is part of the community, you've sworn to protect and serve that community, would make sense that they want people from all walks of life using these core competencies. I'm just going to focus on two of these core competencies right now. One of those core competencies would be judgment. The other one would be analytical thinking. Now, over the course of the past year and a half, I've watched my brothers and sisters in blue say the line. The line! What's the line?
I'm just doing my job!
I'm just doing my job! I'm just following orders! I don't agree with any of this! I know this is bullshit, but here's your ticket. Pay up. Sorry, just following orders.
We need money!
Yeah. Now, I know it's upsetting, but let me explain why it's upsetting to me to hear a police officer say that. They get to use their judgment all the time. And they use it with criminal code matters. Indictable offenses where you can do time in jail. They use their judgment in a real-life situation, and we, the public, we trust them to use their judgment because these are the experts. Those cops are the experts in every one of those situations. It's not the administration. It's not the people that we are all of a sudden looking to as leaders and trusting blindly. No, we trust police officers to use their judgment in everyday situations because they're the experts. But now, with bylaws and mandates, nonsensical make-believe that is being whipped together on the fly by lawyers and then retracted and then redone and then amended and then another OIC, another amendment. Oh, this state of emergency expired, but now here's the Reopening Act of Ontario. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, back to shutdown. all of a sudden, these police officers are not allowed to use their judgment. It's not really shame on them at this point yet, but this winter, if they refuse to use their judgment at this point, and they refuse to use their analytical thinking at this point, then yes, shame on them. Because if we let what's happening in Australia, if we let that happen here, then you can bet your ass it's shame on them, because at that point, it is nothing but selfishness. My paycheck is safe, my pension is safe for now, therefore, I don't give a shit what you're going through. I don't care that you have to close your gym. I don't care that Sean Zimmer's taking it upon himself to have free workouts for the community in his backyard by donation only.
Yeah.
Right? We see it. The cops show up. You can tell by their body language. They don't want to be there. Their shoulders are slumped over. Their hands are in their pockets.
They should be coming and talking to us.
One or two of them was probably at one of his workouts the weekend before.
Maybe they're on our side.
And they're like, man, this is really awkward. And he's got his camera out and he's saying, what are you guys doing here? What are you doing here? You're here to give me a ticket. We're exercising in my backyard. And take a look at the parking lot over there where it's Costco. Everyone's lined up to get their junk food, to get their candy, whatever else the government has. And you're writing me a fucking ticket? And they go, yeah, look, man, we don't want to be here. We're just doing our jobs. Here's your ticket. And then they slouch away back to their cars, and then someone like me looks at that, and I'm fucking embarrassed. Unbelievably embarrassed for those police officers. But really for every police officer, because I've not met one that has defended these actions in person. Not one. Everyone says the same thing to me. Yeah, look, our sergeant says, just show up and don't really enforce this nonsense. Why is the sergeant saying that to the police officers on the ground? Because you're still getting the calls. It's still taking a unit off of the streets to focus on make-believe. Imagine you need a police officer now. Imagine you needed one 5 minutes ago, and you find out that 5 units were dispatched to go to Huff Gym in Mississauga because the mayor threw a tantrum on television and didn't like that Teresa wasn't listening to her orders. Now, we're gonna give her the maximum fine, we're gonna give her the maximum penalty, we're gonna shut them down. Well, I stood there outside that gym when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 police units rolled in. 1 sergeant, 4 constables, and who knows how many bylaw thugs who were dressed like garbage, wearing their little badges around their necks. It was pathetic. It was absolutely pathetic. So you know what I saw? I have a bit of an understanding of the law. I have a little bit of an understanding of the Bill of Rights, the Charter of Rights, and I may or may not have read the ROA in its entirety multiple times, and I know exactly what's in it, and I know what it says. I know what these guys have the authority to do and not to do under the ROA, which is made up nonsense. They have no authority to enter a business and shut it down. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When they spin it on the news as if that's what they can do, and 90% of the population believes it. I stood there, I talked to the police officers, and they all said the same thing. They don't want to be there, but there they are. They're not out in the communities. Mississauga has a very high crime rate. I think we can all agree. Niagara Falls, incredibly high crime rate. I think we can all agree. I think our police officers have better things to be doing than allowing themselves to be used as political henchmen to make a statement on the news. I'm the one standing here saying this because I'm a moron. I only have 5 years on the job and I had so much learning to do. I have mentors in the field. They work right there and they work about 28 kilometers down the road at the Peace Bridge. They work at your headquarters officers in Niagara Regional Police Headquarters, people like Sergeant Mike Tripp, people who I look up to as incredible officers, incredible human beings, people who wear their hearts on their sleeves day in and day out to keep the community safe, to keep the people safe, despite the fact that they don't get the right equipment, despite the fact that they don't get the right training. And I'm talking about police services that have been around forever. I'm going to shift focus to the Canada Border Services Agency, because if you live in this region, it's a pretty big deal to know what this agency is, how it came to fruition, and how it's operating, and how it's wildly unacceptable. Wildly unacceptable what's going on in our borders. It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. The Canada Border Services Agency has been around for less than 20 years. It's brand new. Brand new. Since day one, since its inception, the officers at the border here, they've always had their authority. They've always had the power to do what they can do now. Question you, detain you, strip search you naked, which I've talked about many times on my Instagram. There's a chief still employed by the Canada Border Services Agency who may or may not have violated 48 students' charter rights by ordering them all to be stripped naked over an odor of marijuana. That chief's still employed, and that chief led the repatriation flights in Trenton. Yeah, and more on that later, but that chief is the reason why, if you want to believe the Government of Canada's data and timeline of events. If you look at that timeline, we had the flight land. That chief didn't wear any personal protective equipment. He cleared the flight unnecessarily, didn't self-isolate, neither did the other officers that I worked with. And about 2 months later, Canada was at 50,000 plus cases. So, if you want to believe the Government of Canada's timeline of events and their nonsensical evidence, looks pretty bad. Looks like we can pinpoint one specific event here in Canada that the Canada Border Services Agency didn't handle properly, that they lied and told all of you they did, but in reality they didn't. Okay? All right?
Predominantly within 60.
This agency has no civilian oversight.
They're all the way over there.
Zero. If I shoot someone dead on the job, it's not an SIU investigating it. It's the Mounties. Just more government. No civilian oversight. Why does that matter? Because the government decided who's essential and who's not essential. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as essential travel and non-essential travel. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. But we've just come to accept it over the course of the last year. And this is something that under no circumstances should we ever accept. If you're a Canadian citizen, this is your God-given land. You come and go as you please. You enter this country by right, and you exit this country by right. We don't allow the government to pick and choose the winners and losers in this equation, but this is what we've let them do. With no civilian oversight. As in, no one who doesn't work for the Government of Canada, who's not benefiting from their paycheck or their corruption or whatever else, no one is questioning any of this. Well, I saw it firsthand, and every single officer who's working there right now is seeing the same. This border has been open this entire time, but it hasn't been open to you. Hasn't been open to you. Not open to you. In fact, it doesn't matter what reason you give. It's not essential according to the government.
So you can be a hockey player and cross the border.
Unless you're one of the winners that they picked, as in, you're a hockey player. Woo! Rules for thee, but not for me. You're a politician. Look at that. No PCR test for you. No self-isolation. No spending $6,500 on a shitty hotel that's owned by a Chinese corporation. No 14-day self-isolation. You get marked in a system as essential, and it never gets looked at again. Now, if you guys are locals to Niagara, there's a good chance that some of you work in the U.S. and live here in Canada.
And you don't have to be.
I bet you, at least one of you figured out that once you're marked essential as a cross-border worker, you can scam the system, and you can just come and go as you please. All you have to say is, oh yeah, I was just at work today. I wasn't picking up packages for my neighbors. I didn't just go to my P.O. box. Just at work. Because the government can't do anything right. They really can't. Even if this lockdown had the best of intentions at heart, you think they do it correctly? No! They can't even figure out how to pay us. We still have something called the Phoenix payroll system, which once upon a time caused, I don't know, over 600,000 payroll issues nationwide, most of which were unresolved. Federal workers lost their houses, went bankrupt, suicides, but the government doesn't care until it becomes public knowledge.
I've never heard of it.
So that's what I'm trying to do. Make the public aware of the internal politicians that none of you elected. They've been in their positions for way too long with no civilian oversight. They've been granted a surplus of COVID-19 cash that went nowhere except for straight into their pockets. There's a reason why they don't want me speaking to you. I've seen it all. I've met these people. I know how they operate, and they are tyrants. They do not have public safety at heart, and they most certainly don't have your safety at heart. And officers, you guys know it, they don't have your safety at heart either. It's not until one of you guys gets shot and killed in the line of duty or something gets revealed that they go, oops, maybe we should have given better training, maybe we should have given better equipment. It's unacceptable. What do? We come to these rallies and we get together and we listen to someone like me just bark into a microphone and talk and talk and talk. And then we leave and we go back to our regular lives where we're confused. And tomorrow there's another problem. There's another issue. Something else is thrown at us. Well, right now, there's a bit of a problem and a lot of confusion happening, and it's with the mandatory vaccinations that our employers are now throwing at us. This is what the government does best, and this is what they've been doing to us this entire time. They make an announcement, and it causes mass chaos and confusion. What they just did is unlawful. You can't coerce anybody into taking an experimental, unapproved vaccine. I don't care if it's now recently approved by the FDA, it doesn't matter. You can't coerce your employees into taking this nonsense, but they don't care, because they're just going to do it. They're going to say their things behind the podiums, they're going to confuse everyone, and companies are now just taking the ball and rolling with it. Oh, government said that we have to, so everyone needs to give us their vaccination status. No, fuck that. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. No. You don't understand how real life works. They make these silly rules and they get behind their podium and they throw their tantrums and they expect all of you to comply. And it works because most people just do comply. Nobody questions this stuff. It's time for all of us to start questioning it. Everything. And not just questioning it online, I mean in real life. If they say that you can't leave the province of Ontario, but you had plans to leave the province of Ontario, don't cancel your plans. No!
Fuck themselves.
Make them try and cancel it. Make them try and stop you. No, because hopefully, in a few weeks, when these guys get told to put their masks back on, and when they get told that you guys can't be out past 8 p.m., or when they get told that you can't leave your health region, hopefully by then, enough of them will have realized by using their analytical thinking skills, perhaps their judgment, maybe this time they'll actually refuse to follow unlawful. They'll remember that they first applied to serve and protect the people, not to carry out unlawful orders by political tyrants throwing tantrums on television. How embarrassing is it that Canadian police officers turned their backs on the people,
Who pay their
on
salaries?
pastors, on their friends, their family, their neighbors, to appease a political fat cat who has been living their life completely unfettered, unfazed, while all of you have been told to stop. How outrageous! Like, am I the only one who feels crazy for thinking that that is unacceptable? You all stop living your lives so that politicians can continue to live theirs. And they don't deny it when they get caught. You know what they say? Well, we need to keep our gym open because we need to be able to make important decisions that keep you all safe. They say bullshit like that. Guys, can someone come up here and tell me what you came here to hear me say? That's what I want to know. I could talk forever on a million different subjects. Come on up here. Come up here.
Whatever happened to shutting down gambling?
And wine tasting.
Because these... Okay, so she asked, how come they never shut down gambling? Oh, that's hilarious. Well, it's the same reason they thought they could pick and choose the winners and losers in the travel equation, okay? Essential travel for them, non-essential travel for you. These public health experts know jack shit about staying healthy. They don't know anything. Take a look at them. Use some common sense.
Automax is not essential.
They live sedentary lifestyles, and they are bureaucrats. I've talked a lot on my Instagram about the Canada Border Services Agency. I'm not going to stand here and recite all of that because I could just go on and on and on for hours, but take your time and have a look at, forget the word corruption, just the gross incompetency within government. You think any of these people that climb the ranks in government are experts in anything? No! The government innovates absolutely nothing. They do not innovate anything. They do not lead the charge on anything. They hire private companies to get the job done. Because private companies are expected to perhaps produce results. I don't know. Perhaps they're held accountable. There's no accountability in government.
What can we do?
What can we do? Well, I'm going to start doing what I've been doing, which is exposing everything that I've seen, and I haven't even started talking about what I saw when I was at headquarters. All of the pilot projects, the programs and initiative that the government creates to convince taxpayers it's necessary and effective, all of these pilot projects, they cost millions upon millions upon millions of dollars per year. Some of these pilot projects have been going on since the 80s, and they go nowhere. Well, anytime you have a company that's getting paid to operate and it doesn't produce anything, that's a money laundering operation. Like a car wash that does $6 million a year but never washes any cars. The government takes your money, it does whatever it wants with it. It's built of multiple government departments, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of government departments. They all have their own internal politics, just like the CBSA does. These are all unelected political fat cats. They wield unbelievable power, and they control the budget that no one holds them accountable for.
I never like that.
Exactly.
Why is the government not being audited with anything that they do?
Now you're talking like a revolutionary. Oh, now we're talking. How come no one's auditing the government the way that we get audited? Well, you would need a government that perhaps fears the people, which means you might need to have people who are worth fearing, which means
We have to get loud!
Well, we gotta get comfortable being a little uncomfortable. That's the best advice that I'm gonna give to each and every one of you, because it's really uncomfortable to even oppose someone else's viewpoint. It's really uncomfortable, and for a lot of you, that is a very uncomfortable first step, and I get it. I understand why you haven't taken that step yet, because it's awful. It really is. To voice your opinion, to go against the narrative if you've never done it before, get ready to get attacked. Oh boy, it's gonna suck. But let me tell you what, it's gonna suck for a little bit, but you're gonna inspire others, and you might be the voice that someone else was waiting to hear, to motivate them to get off of their ass and speak up as well, and they might be the voice that someone else needed to hear. And on, but guys, it happens real slow. Real slow. If you want to talk about how that works versus how fear works, fear is fast. Fear is very, very fast. Very, very, very easy to simply comply. Very easy to say, you know what? Taking a stand against my employer, that's risky. I don't think anyone else in my workplace feels the same way. Screw it. I'm just going to take the jab. No, you could have been the voice. You could have been the voice that was the first in your workplace to pave the way for others to follow in your footsteps, and that's how it's done. And I am praying that when these cops get the orders that are coming down the pipe, which we all know are coming, if you're still holding on to a thread of hope that there isn't another lockdown, you're out of your mind. But there is some hope, because I think Canadians are pissed, and they're trying to ramp things up a little too fast for us. And I think this winter we finally reached a breaking point in this country where enough is enough. I know for a fact there are countless police officers across this country who've had enough. And you can rest assured that when a curfew comes in, you can rest assured that wherever the first curfew is in this country, I will be there outside past curfew with hundreds of officers who will be refusing unlawful orders. At that point, the ball will be in their court. How far are you willing to go to be a political henchman? How many officers will I have standing there with me? I don't know. I know I'll have a few. I'm hoping there will be a few hundred. I'm hoping that it doesn't even get to that point, but unfortunately it will. Someone's calling my name. What's up, brother? Oh, she's asking why the cops over there aren't wearing masks. It's because cops are able to use their analytical thinking and their judgment, and at this point they know that masks are completely fucking useless. I'm a moron, and I figured that out. I believed in the mask thing in the beginning. I was terrified. In the beginning. I was catching myself, like, trying not to touch my face, and I realized, ooh, I touch my face a lot. I'm always touching my beard. I thought for sure, I'm like, I'm a goner. I'm the first one who's gonna go down with the Rona. I can't keep my hands off my face. Just constantly. But then, wearing the mask at work, I couldn't stop touching it. It was just freaking me out even more. I can't stop touching this mask. Oh my god. And if you haven't heard me tell the story, I'll tell it real quick. I was the ambassador for the Port of Lansdowne when the president of the Canada Border Services Agency toured our operation to see how we were handling the response to the pandemic and to see what kind of public health protocols we put in place. So he's the top dog, so we had him fit tested by a certified N95 fit tester so he could wear a mask for his entire visit. You think he wore it once? No. At one point I said to him, Mr. President, probably put your mask on. And he looked at it and he went, and didn't put it on. I had just been indoctrinated for 2 months now of nothing but government propaganda fear. How scared I should be, how this virus can kill me, my friends, my family, everyone around me. It's the most contagious thing ever, and apparently this mask is going to save the day. And I looked at the president and I said, hey man, you think you could put that thing on for a minute? And he said, no, I don't care about your safety. Shut up, you servant, and get back out there and follow my tyrannical orders. I get it, he didn't say that, but he might as well have said it. He showed me in that very moment he has zero fear of a virus, zero respect for the health protocols that we put into place. And I know for a fact, because I've seen the bulletins, that we're only expected to wear these masks when the public are present. It's pure smoke and mirrors, make-believe nonsense. I apologize if you fell for it. It might hurt your feelings a little bit to realize that you fell for the world's dumbest make-believe lie that politicians have ever told us. But I forgive you, because so did all these cops, and so did countless other cops that I know. People that solve unsolvable crimes. What? Like, what? It blows my mind. Anyway, any other questions? Well, you said to get uncomfortable, and this is very uncomfortable, but I have something very important I want to ask. So those police officers over there, all of them over there, why are they so far away from us? Why are they dehumanizing themselves? They should be with the people. Why are you afraid to stand with us? They protect us, the people. So I have one more question for you, Patrick McNulty. I want to know, how do I get them to realize what they're doing is wrong? Do I stand in front of their office and protest there? Do I take my protest to all the police stations? From all the way to Niagara to the end of the GTA? Is that how we get them to wake up? Because when I've heard that the mandates are coming for the jab, and it's coming for everybody, and they're not excluded. So they should be with us and not segregating themselves. That's what I think. I apologize, I didn't hear your question. I was talking. I don't know.
Should I protest out at their door? At their district? What do I do?
What are we supposed
Talking
to do?
to you, police officers!
Constables, is there any chance that you would show a gesture of good faith to the people here and come a little bit closer to the crowd and smile and say hi to some of these people?
Yes!
A lot of work has gone into humanizing the badge, and a lot of that work is being undone rapidly in the last year and a half. It's not necessarily their fault. It's kind of
stay up here, you stay down.
everyone's fault in the profession at this point. So those constables aren't coming closer, but that young, brave man, who I've now met twice, I met him in Parliament Hill on Saturday, he's going to go and say hi and most likely shake their hands. And he's doing what I encourage all of you to do. Connect with the police officers in the community. Connect with the ones that you know who are off duty. Try and speak to their hearts. Remind them that they're there to protect you from threats